Day 652 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again another day, another LeetCode problem where we're doing daily LeetCode problems. And today we have question number 1961. Check if string is a prefix of array. The difficulty level is easy, so don't worry because you already know we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as possible. But before we get started, y'all, don't forget to like, hype, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you need any new Apple AirPods, go ahead and check out that link in the description so you can get you some. Now let's see what the question says. Given a string S in an array of strings words, determine whether S is a prefix string of words. A string S is a prefix string of words if S can be made by concatenating the first k strings in words of some positive k no larger than words dot length. Return true if S is a prefix string of words or false otherwise. All right, y'all, so that sounds simple enough, but let's go ahead and take a look at these examples just to make sure that we are doing this problem correctly. So in example 1, we have our input S equals a string, I love LeetCode, no spaces, just I love LeetCode, one string. Words equals an array of strings, first string is I, second string is love, third string is LeetCode, and the fourth string is apple. The output is true. Explanation says S can be made by concatenating I, love, and LeetCode together. So in this case, to break this down one step further, we're given a string S. We want to see if we could create this string right here in S by concatenating or joining any words together in the words in this in this array of strings words, right, which is also the output. So if we concatenate these three strings right here, then we'll get I love LeetCode. And all concatenate means is we just combine them, right? So if we combine these three strings, we'll get this. That's why the output is true. So it's important to remember that when we are concatenating words, the words or the strings need to be already next to each other, right? It needs to be a prefix, meaning they need to be already lined up. We can't just take I love, say this said I love apples. We can't just take I love and then get the apples over here, because then we can't concatenate them properly because this LeetCode is in the way. So just in case that didn't make sense, let's take a look at example 2. So in example 2, our input S equals a string, I love LeetCode again. This time words equals an array of strings, apples, I love LeetCode. The output is false. It says it is impossible to make S using a prefix of R. So once again, the prefix would have to start at the beginning, right? So they would have to be in order starting from index 0. So since this starts at index 1, it doesn't count, right? Because remember, we want the prefix string. So that means the first string in the concatenation needs to start at index 0, and then it needs to be lined up in a row from index 0, 1, 2, 3, etc., and so on. So in this case, since apple is first, that means that this cannot be a prefix of this because this doesn't have apple in it. In order for this to be a prefix, then apple would need to either be in this before I, or apple would need to be at the end of this, right? And saying it like this. So I hope that makes sense to y'all. And now that we understand the question, let's get into the fun part, the actual solution. Solution is not that difficult at all. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to create our output string, or not our output, but somewhere to store our result, right? So we're going to declare a variable called result. This is not the output though, just so we're clear. We're going to declare a variable called result. We're going to set that equal to a string, and we're going to put the parentheses like this. Boom. Then, so we're going to use this result for our concatenation. So we're going to say for word in words, boom, we're going to open up the brackets, and we're going to say result plus equals word. So we're going to add the word to this result until to see if we can concatenate the word or the strings properly. Then we're going to say if S equals result, because remember we just built this result string, right? So in the end, right, this input S should look like result. Boom. Otherwise, if it doesn't, we'll open up the brackets and we could just say return false. Boom. But if it does, then we come right here and we can say return true. Boom, y'all. That's all she wrote. Let's give it a run. Make sure it runs properly before we submit it. Ooh, we got the wrong answer. So let's see where we went wrong. Oh, sorry, y'all. Sorry, y'all. These are backwards. This is backwards. So this should be true, and this should be false. Hold on. Boom. Now that should do the trick. Now let's run it. It's accepted. So let's go ahead and submit it. Make sure it's still accepted after we submit it. Let's see, and look at that, y'all. 0 milliseconds beats 100% of users. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to see, y'all. So, with that being said, I hope y'all learned something today, and I hope to see y'all here tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. See y'all then.